Welcome everybody to this webinar on using social media to wow your guests with Ripples. I'm Zoe. I run a social media agency, and I've now been working with Ripples for the last 6 months with the main goal of helping them get more visibility for their brand on social media, and helping them leverage the moments that they're capturing when people are wowed by getting their first ripple or their second ripples to capture those moments, put them on social media, and then hopefully leverage the buzz around that on social media. So I'm going to run through a few tips and tricks that we've learned and try and help you take that for your brands and your businesses, and leverage it to grow on social media for yourselves. Just bear with me 1 second. Some new people have joined, and I'm just going to mute everybody so that we can all enjoy the silence of my talking. Just 1 second. Right. Thank you. Right. So most people don't know this, but there's actually a problem on social media. And that is that every post that you put up, it doesn't matter whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn, which are the main social channels, there is this 18-minute kind of life rule. That it means that for the first 18 minutes that a post is live, unless somebody interacts with that post, and an interaction could be somebody liking it or commenting, tweeting or retweeting, even reading more. Sometimes you get, 2 lines of text and there's a little read more button. All of those interactions with the social posts give it life. They kick the algorithms that sit behind the social platform into action and make those posts come alive again. So just to give you an example, on Facebook, there's what's known as the 1% rule. It doesn't matter if you have 10,000 followers on your Facebook page, your business page. Almost every post that you put there, the algorithm will only show that post to around 1% of your existing followers. You need people to interact with your posts in order for you to get more visibility and to get your posts seen by more people. Now, this thing normally turns people off social media. But if you know how to use it properly, and if you know the tips and the tricks that we can show you as we go through these presentation slides, you can actually be more active on social media as long as you're following these rules and working with the algorithm to get your content seen by more people. I wanted to show you an example of 2 social posts. These both come from Facebook. The one on the left, you'll see, had, I think it was around 4 people liking the post, and you'll see that it only reached 162 people. Whereas the one on the right, which had 14 people liking and 1 share on this post, actually had 298 views, and it reached 1,249 people. What Facebook means by reach is that it potentially went into the feeds of around 1,249 people. So you see that by having really engaging posts and having really engaged audiences on your Facebook pages, you can actually get your posts organically seen by more and more people. The other way to get more people to see your posts is to boost them or to pay for targeted advertising, but not everybody has the budgets for that or understands how to do it, and you shouldn't need to, because as long as you have engaging posts, you should be able to get organic interactions with your posts. And that's the amazing thing about Ripples, is it's actually really engaging. People do really like it, especially if you have if you're lucky enough to get a celebrity who comes into your business, into your coffee shop or your hotel, and you can create a relationship with that person and capture the moment and get them to use the right tags when they put it on their own social media. You can really take advantage of that moment and amplify your own brand on social media, and also amplify and get a really strong message across. If we have a look at Twitter here, you'll see a very similar story with this tweet, that although that had 51 engagements, it really has only 1,438 impressions. And again, impressions on Twitter is very similar to reach. It's a potential number of times that tweet may have been seen by someone. If you just bear with me 1 second, I'm just going to mute a few more people. Right. Thank you. All right. So this is normally the point where people start to kind of freak out a little bit and say, well, you know, if social media is so difficult, then what's the point? And, you know, we don't have time to spend on social media. And I can tell you that, you know, even for our really, really big clients that have multiple social media channels, we spend no more than an hour a day on their social media in terms of posting, engaging, following, you know, engaging with journalists and people to get them the visibility that they want. So for most brands, you know, 20 minutes to an hour a day is really all it takes. And especially if you're just capturing special moments and sharing them and doing the right tagging, you can definitely overcome this social media challenge. So I'm going to go through some of the steps that we take to get better amplification, to get better reach of our social posts. And the first thing we do is we have this policy of what we call getting married to our social media. We take a mix of content that is something old. And the reason why we post old things is, as you know, as I showed you in the previous slides, most of your posts don't get seen by many people. So you mustn't be afraid to take the same posts and share them again. A lot of people and a lot of businesses feel that if they're posting the same things again and again, or if they're posting too often, they're actually annoying their audience. Well, I've just shown you that that's not the case at all. In fact, very few people are actually seeing your posts. So what you can do is actually post multiple times, not in the same day or the same week, but you could spread your posts out over the course of a month and fill it up. For most of our clients, we post 5 to 7 times a day on each platform, many, many more times on Twitter, in order to get the post really seen by the maximum audience that's possible on each social platform. So getting married means posting lots of old stuff, introducing new things. So if you capture a new moment, you have a new cake, and you print a new ripples, and you take a photo and you put it on social media, you can introduce new things to your content calendar. And we also encourage you to post curated content, which is borrowed content, something old, something new, and something borrowed. If you understand the reference to getting married, that's where it comes from. The borrowed content, the reason you're doing it is because it's boring to constantly post things about yourselves. You also do it for validation. So if you you have find an interesting article about the area where a tourist article about the area where your hotel is, or interesting content that's online about your coffee shop, or about the clientele, things of interest and value to your followers and people who are your customers, and you share that content. If you do it the right way, which is the next slide that I'm going to talk to you about, which is called getting out the box, and you're adding in the tags and the hashtags. The tag on the left being you tagging a person or an entity, a company, and the tag on the right denoting a topic. Some people, particularly on Instagram, use the hashtag for sentiment. In other words, they say having a bad day, and they stick the 3 words together. It's not the right way to use hashtags, although it's still quite acceptable on Instagram. But on other platforms like Facebook and Twitter, it denotes a topic. And if you use these tags, what you're actually doing is you're taking a post that is stuck in 18 minutes and you're making it discoverable outside of that 18 minutes. You're getting outside of your 18-minute box, because by tagging and hashtagging, you're making it discoverable. So for example, if somebody comes into either Instagram or Twitter or Facebook and looks for content like under coffees or baristas or interesting things to do, and they look under the topics that you're using, they might discover your content, they might interact with your content well outside of the first 18 minutes. And that's how you make your content live longer on on social media. At this point, we encourage you to come up with your own hashtags that you use consistently, but definitely to use the Ripples hashtag, Drink Ripples, so that it ties all of those moments together and makes it all discoverable under people looking for Ripples moments online. It also alerts us that you're putting something on social media, and then we can amplify your content as well. We share almost everything that we find, and we create posts and moments and give you that boost to your content by sharing it and giving you the acknowledgement as well. So that's what getting outside the box is. And that's why you also do curated content. For us, when we post your content, for us, it's our curated content as well. We like our posts to be as engaging as possible. The more video that you can do or live sessions, the better. Almost all platforms now allow you to do live video or to create stories, and they show much higher numbers of engagements. But if you're going to just do regular posting, we like to call it the 3Ds. To make sure that your posts always have desire. Why should somebody desire to engage with your post? What is it about the post that will make them want to read it? What is your call to action? Don't post anything without a call to action. There is a lot of talk about how if you don't put a link in a post, particularly on Facebook, for instance, then the algorithm will show your post to more people. Well, great. How does it help to have more people viewing your post if there's not an action that they can take to take them to your website or to get them to order something online or to make a booking? So if you can tie all of your posts into an action, when we post Ripples images, we constantly finish the post with, would you like to get a ripple maker for your business? And we tie it in and try and bring people back to our website to take an action. The details, believe it or not, are not as interesting to people. For example, you can quite often put the name of an event on a post, and if you put the date and the time, if people are interested in the event, they will click on the call to action and go through to a website before they even realize that they're not available on that night for the event. They won't read it so much in a social post. So it's not as relevant as you think it is. But if you're going to put the details in, be creative with them. You can take an image, you can open it in Canva or in Photoshop if you're more skilled than the average user. You can create an image and put the date of the event on the image and make that part of your social post. That way the details are there, but they're not they're not the main part of the text. Keep your text short and punchy, and keep thinking how to give value to people who are reading your posts so that they can interact with it as quickly as possible. Tell stories. Believe it or not, just telling a story. We had a couple come into our restaurant. They sat down, they ordered a coffee. We surprised them with the Ripples. Tell stories. You have the most amazing platform with Ripples to print anything on your drink or on your coffee or on your cocktail foam. You could really use it to wow and to create very special moments between you and your baristas and the people coming into your place of business. And part of that creating moments is to look at how to use the Ripples machine to really elevate your marketing and elevate your brand. And we have suggestions here for you, but we're always happy to work with you to create moments or to create competitions and things that will elevate that brand for you, and then capture them and put them on social media. So we'll just go through some of our suggestions for you. You could welcome your guests that come in with a Ripples. You can use Ripples to create different language greetings. If you're having a delegation of Chinese investors coming and staying or having an event at your hotel, you could print Ripples in their language or using business logos, for example. It's all about location. So anything relevant to your location, particularly coffee shops here. Let's say there's a local sporting event, Go Team printed on ripples and handed out to people coming in after the game, the local game, is a great way to engage a local audience. Trending topics, world events. When Harry and Meghan got engaged, we printed an engagement ring with H&M inside it. You can take advantage of cool things that are trending and happening around, and people get wowed by it because they get their coffee or their drink and they see it printed on there, and they capture it and they stick it on their own Instagram and their own social media. It creates amazing wow moments. Here's some examples of moments we've recently captured or created, from, you know, the cocktail in the top left corner with the Hilton to keep calm and stay at the Hilton, right down to the middle bottom. It was recently Martin Luther King Day, and you'll see that we've actually created and captured amazing moments from social media, shared on either other people's Instagrams, or we then take them and share them on our Instagram. You can wow people at breakfast. You can wow them in service in their rooms if they order room service, near the pool, at the bar. The ideas are endless of how you can take ripples and really create these moments within your business to amplify and get them on social media. I just want to go back and reiterate that what will really make the difference, though, is creating the relationship when you hand over that drink with the person, because if they are going to capture it and put it on social media, you want them to tag you. And then you can find it and you can amplify it, and you can tag us and we can amplify it. It's taking one instance on social media and giving it a push, both from your perspective and our perspective. And if you repeat that push, as I told you right at the beginning, you're giving it multiple chances to have life and really build your brand and market yourselves in a really cool way. So we give you multiple ways to do this interaction with the user. When they come in, there's a Ripples app. They can create their own Ripples. There are opportunities here for you to upsell to them. We can look at Carrera Cafe in the States, in LA. They charge for Ripples. They charge an extra fee for Ripples. So they are upselling to their customers to create unique ripples. You could maybe perhaps do some kind of a gamification, and we've got some ideas of how that works and what gamification really means. But you could also, if they want to create their own bespoke ripples using the app or an iPad that you could have at your bar service, then that's ways that you can interact with people. You can print posters and have them up inside your coffee shop to encourage people not just to interact with the Ripples machine, Ripple Maker, but also to then take the photos and put them onto social media with the correct hashtags. So, there are multiple upsell opportunities that are available that create that relationship, rather than someone just coming in, buying a coffee, getting their ripples, and that's the end of the interaction with them. Part of creating those relationships, like I said, is getting it from, they've received their coffee, they've taken a photo of it, maybe they've put it on Instagram, but getting them to tag and to create that really cool social buzz is really important. In fact, we encourage you to take the photos yourself if you can, and be the first to put it on social media, tagging them, because that really gives you control of that buzz. And then let them share what you've already posted, and get their friends and their followers to interact with you. We've seen some amazing examples of how this has worked with famous people and not famous people. Here's an example of Liev Schreiber, who was staying at the Royal Beach Hotel very recently. I think it was, in fact, last week. And he was wowed with a selfie of himself on a coffee. He put it onto, this was the first touch point on the left. He put it onto Instagram. It already had 38,000 likes. And he tagged the Royal Beach Hotel. So the hotel themselves were able to amplify that. In their amplification, you know, if Liev himself didn't know to tag Drink Ripples, which it would have been nice if he had, then the hotel has the opportunity to do that. Then we have the opportunity to amplify that for you and get that out to our thousands of followers plus. And then you'll see that the second time he had his coffee, they came back and they gave him a second wow. They actually printed his kids and him on his second coffee, and he shared it again, and the second one has 14,000 likes. If we come down, here's an example of a star who went into Carrera Cafe. She obviously was very keen to tag Cartier and a couple of other brands, and you'll see that she had 3,500 likes on this. She's someone that on Instagram has 320,000 followers. It's a shame that she didn't also tag Carrera Cafe or Cafe Carrera, and she did. Sorry, I apologize. This was the Storchen in Zurich. I apologize. It wasn't Cafe Carrera. They have very similar looking photos. But she didn't tag the Storchen, and the Storchen the next day did actually repost it. But it would have been much better if they had created a relationship at the point when she was posting it to social media and got them to tag them at that point. And then they could have interacted with the post in that way. It was great, however, that they did repost it the next day. And in their repost, they tagged us, and we were able then to also boost their post and go back to the original post and interact with the original post as well. But all of these moments that are captured and put on social media are opportunities to sell your brand and to make customers aware that you have this really amazing tool and a way of marketing and sending messages out, being funny, posting funny moments, funny quotes, life events, and really capturing them and putting them online for eternity. Here is a beautiful example of local Joe Hai in Hawaii, capturing a moment of a couple on their wedding day who came in and got their coffees. And then, you know, in between these amazing moments of celebrities coming in or people getting engaged. In fact, we have a video we posted last week of a baby reveal. A wife revealed that she was pregnant using a Ripples coffee to her husband. When you don't have those moments, you can look for opportunities to gamify and engage your customers coming into your store using the Ripples machine. And here are just a couple of very small ideas of things that you can do. On the left-hand side, we've created a bingo card using the prints that we've made available to you for Valentine's Day. It's a known mechanism that coffee shops, you can collect stamps every time you get your morning coffee or your daily coffee, and you get your 5th one for free. So that's a way that you could do an interaction with your customers using the Ripples machine. Let them collect a series of Ripples. Another one is to go do an Instagram frame, and when they come into their store and get them wow moment Ripples, that you encourage them to take the frame, take a photo and stick it up. Make sure that your branding is on it very clearly, and that when they are posting it right there and then, or you're posting it for them to Instagram, that you're tagging them and tagging yourselves and us, of course. You can use unique hashtags like Love Ripples and say anybody coming into our store and getting a Valentine's Day Ripples for the next week or two, post your photo to social media, tag Love Ripples, and you'll go into a draw to win a dinner for two. That's a great way of gamifying the use of your Ripples machine around an event like Valentine's Day, and making sure that people are not just drinking their coffee, they're also creating and marketing your brand on social media, sharing it with their friends and telling their friends, hey, look how cool this is. I not only got my coffee with my girlfriend on it, but I'm also now in a draw, going into a draw to win dinner for two or a stay at my hotel, at this hotel, as part of a Valentine's Day promotion. And you'll see over here on the right another cute idea from Fenster Cafe. They basically said if anybody tagged their loved one in this coffee post, they could get 2 coffees for the price of 1. These are all gamifications, or a way of playing a game with your customers to get them using the Ripples in a creative way. Part of amplification and being successful in social media is to have a community and be community minded. So that means the more people you have sharing and engaging with posts, the more they will be seen. Again, if you go back to the examples I showed you on Facebook, where you had on the left 4 people had engaged and on the right 14 people engaged, and the difference was 300 views to, or 300 people reached to 1,500 people reach. If you have, you know, staff that is overturning and baristas that come and go, anybody that you can encourage or incentivize to be part of your community, regular customers, people that do engage with your brand anyway, if you can make them brand ambassadors and get them engaged and sharing in any way, so that every time you post something, they are engaging with it and they do like all your posts, more and more and more people will see it. The more people who see your posts, the more chance you have of growing your followers, and also eventually getting more people engaging with your posts. I can tell you, I have one customer brand who recently had about 30,000 followers on Twitter, and it's just been growing and growing and growing. And in the last month and a half, they've gone to about 85,000 followers on Twitter. Almost every single post they share now has in the thousands of people engaging with those posts. We would love your brands to have that kind of exposure on social media, and the Ripples gives you the opportunity to really wow people and create something unique that's unique to them, that will get them snapping that moment and sharing it on social media, which they won't do just coming into a hotel and having a drink at a bar or having a drink by the pool. There aren't that many opportunities to really be wowed by it and to get them capturing that moment to share on social media. So take advantage of it and use the Ripples to get that message across, that you really care about them, and that, you know, that there's special things, whether it's a funny quote or a personalized image that you can share with the people and the customers coming in. That's basically it for this presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'll unmute people, but there's also a chat bar that you can ask a question in. And I've also put Geva's details up on the screen here, so that if you want to ask any questions, you can email Geva and ask him, and he'll bring me in if he needs me in, or he'll answer them himself. But you're all welcome to ask any questions.